Cooper Flagg is Cooper Flagg. His ability and his poise to handle any and every situation, he does it seamlessly.
How does a kid from a quiet town in Maine turn into the most feared basketball prospect in 2 decades? At 17, Cooper Flagg didn't just hold his own against LeBron, Steph, and KD. Players whispered he was the best on the floor. Some believe he's a once-in-a-generation savior. The kind of talent you only see every 20 years. Others say he's the most overhyped prospect since Greg Oden, and the NBA is setting him up for failure. So who is Cooper Flagg? A small-town prodigy destined to take over the league? Or just the next name in a long line of can't-miss stars who somehow did? Before NBA stars even knew his name, Cooper Flagg was just a kid in a tiny Maine town of 3,000, where nobody expected basketball greatness. The kind of place where basketball talent isn't even supposed to exist. By middle school, everyone in Maine already knew his name. At 13, he wasn't just playing against high schoolers, he was dominating college players in summer runs. The stories sound almost made up. A 14-year-old driving hours across the state just to practice. Then walking into gyms where D1 athletes swore, no way this skinny kid is better than us, until he dunked on them in the very first possession. By his freshman year of high school, he led his team to a state championship, instantly becoming a local legend. Clips of his chase down blocks and pull-up threes went viral.
If he worked and, wanted it, he was always competitive and always wanted to win at everything he did, whether it was races in the yard or, anything. He was very competitive early.
Suddenly, scouts weren't just calling him talented. They were whispering the word generational. Here's where it gets crazy. In August of 23, at 16 years old, Flagg reclassified, skipping a year of high school, jumping straight into the 2024 class. Overnight, he became the consensus #1 player in the country. Reclassifying wasn't just bold, it was risky. Because now every mistake, every bad game would fuel the critics waiting to call him a fraud. Before he even touched a college court, he made a move so bold it forced the basketball world to stop and stare. Cooper transferred to powerhouse Montverde Academy. Most kids go to Montverde to get discovered.
Yeah, for me, I think it just goes back to wanting to win. Expectations and all that is great. Outside this team, they can say whatever. I don't really care. It's gonna come down to what I need to do, what my role shapes into. I'm just doing whatever I can to help my team win and whatever coach needs me to do.
Cooper went to prove everyone else was already playing catch up. He didn't just fit in, he stood out against the best high school talent in the nation. He wasn't just competing. He was taking over games, swatting shots into the stands, drilling step-back threes, and running the floor like a guard trapped in a 6'9" frame. By his sophomore year, scouts weren't just impressed, they were stunned. He was declared a once-in-a-generation prospect. At 16 years old. By the end of the summer, Flagg wasn't just a top prospect. He was being mentioned in the same breath as LeBron, Zion, and Wemby. Every time the word generational gets thrown around, it creates 2 camps. One side, ready to crown him as the next face of the NBA. The other, a group of lazy, moronic adults ready to tear him down. The only way to prove he wasn't just hype? Do the unthinkable. Go toe-to-toe with the greatest players alive. At 17 years old, he got the kind of test most players only dream of. A call-up to the USA men's select team. That's the squad that scrimmages against Team USA before the Olympics. Normally, it's filled with young NBA players, guys already earning millions, already in the league. No high schoolers, no exceptions. Until Cooper Flagg.
Being 6'8", 6'9", his ball handling, his passing skills, his shot-making ability from short range, long range, can play with his back to the basket, facing the basket, plus he'll defend, plus he'll block shots. This brother is the total package.
So picture this, LeBron, KD, Steph, the most decorated lineup in the world. And a kid from Maine, barely old enough to drive, is thrown into the fire. The expectation? Just survive. Don't embarrass yourself. Fit in, soak up the moment, and get out. But Cooper didn't just survive. He stood out. In a straw poll from The Athletic, Olympic players were asked, who was the best player on the select team? The unanimous answer? Cooper Flagg. Not Paolo Banchero, not the young NBA studs, the teenager. But with every compliment, the pressure doubled, and the real test was still waiting in college. If you're hooked on this story, smash those like and subscribe buttons because we're breaking down the NBA's next wave of superstars.
Cooper has been just a special guy to coach so far. And to me, the best quality that he's brought is the level in which he competes on a daily basis.
From day one, Flagg looked less like a freshman and more like the best player in college basketball. He averaged nearly 20 points, 7 boards, and 4 assists a game. And he was one of the top 5 defenders in the entire NCAA. His comps? Jason Tatum, Scottie Pippen, Kawhi Leonard. And this wasn't hype from fans. It was NBA scouts saying his instincts and polish were already elite. The dominance on the floor was only half the story. Because off the floor, Flagg became a business empire. Thanks to the new NIL rules, he signed with powerhouse agencies and locked in deals with brands like New Balance and Fanatics. He didn't just cash in, he bagged $28 million in NIL deals, turning a small-town teenager into one of the highest-paid athletes in college sports. Think about that. A teenager from Maine was now out earning entire NBA bench players before he ever declared for the draft. Duke made him a millionaire, but Dallas made him a headline that shook the NBA to its core.
Yeah, I mean, it's been crazy, like you said. Just trying to enjoy it, though. I mean, I think this whole process, the whole experience, you only get to do it one time, and that's something that I've been kind of leaning to.
The Dallas Mavericks were supposed to be finished. They just traded away Luka, their golden boy, their future, their franchise. Fans literally held a funeral for the team outside Dirk's statue. Jerseys burned, protests erupted, season ticket holders swore they were done forever. And then, the lottery happened. With just 1.8% odds, Dallas somehow landed the number 1 pick in the 2025 NBA draft. And sitting on top of the board, Cooper Flagg. As history has shown us, lottery saviors don't always save. Sometimes they break under the weight. The internet exploded. Fans screamed the lottery was rigged, the NBA rewarding Dallas for shipping Luka to a big market in LA. Within 72 hours, Dallas sold over 8 million in season tickets. Renewal rates jumped to nearly 80% despite months of chaos. One teenager hadn't even put on the uniform yet.
Pressure on Cooper Flagg as the overall number 1 pick going to Dallas than it was going to Duke last year as the best player in the country coming out of high school. Why? Because of fit.
And he was already saving $1 billion franchise. The hype was undeniable. The business impact was instant. And the comparisons started flying again. Here's the problem. For every LeBron and Wemby, there's a Greg Oden, a Ben Simmons, and Andrew Wiggins. Prospects once labeled generational who never lived up to it. So the question becomes, is Cooper Flagg the savior Dallas has been praying for? Or is he just the next can't-miss star who somehow misses? Do you buy the conspiracy? Was the lottery rigged? Drop your take in the comments. I want to see how divided you guys really are. Every era has its chosen one. LeBron, Zion, Wemby, and now Cooper Flagg. History tells us something brutal. For every generational prospect who makes it, there are 10 who don't. Greg Oden was supposed to be a dynasty changer. Injuries ended that dream. Ben Simmons was supposed to be Magic Johnson 2.0. Instead, he became a cautionary tale. Andrew Wiggins was once hyped as the Maple Jordan. Today, he's a solid role player, not a franchise savior. So where does that leave Cooper? At 18 years old, he already checks every box. Size, skill, defense, versatility, marketability. He's the player NBA scouts dream about building a team around. But the label of generational is heavy. It crushes players, it breaks fan bases, and if Flagg doesn't deliver on the hype, Dallas may go down as the most tragic basketball experiment of the decade. The question isn't if Flagg is good. That's obvious. The question is whether he can ever be great enough to truly own the word generational. The truth is, nobody knows. Cooper Flagg could be the face of the NBA in 5 years. A two-way superstar who brings Dallas back from the dead. Or he could be another name on the long list of what-ifs. A reminder that hype is the easiest thing to build and the hardest thing to live up to. So what do you think? Is Cooper Flagg really the savior Dallas needs? Or just the latest overhyped prodigy? Let me know in the comments. Either way, one thing's for sure. This story is just getting started. We'll see you next time.